Good afternoon, YouTubers. T-Square with T-Square Talk. I am super excited about today's comment video because it is a great comment. I mean, not really, but it's a comment, and I like challenges a little bit. And this one, it kind of stuck in there a little bit. Like I was like, dude, there is no way this guy watches the channel if he thinks this. But I said, you know what? We're going to address the comment. Why? Because comments like this tend to make amazing videos. And if you guys enjoy the video, help me out and make this video amazing by hitting that thumbs up button for me. If you really enjoy the content, hit that subscribe button. I doubt this person is going to after I get done with this comment. So a really awesome comment. I'm going to read the comment first, and then it's so long I have to break the comment down into pieces to address each of the pieces. Okay, here we go. This comment is from Alex Wiggins. I wonder if that's even his real name. Sometimes people are afraid to put their real name because, well, this one you're going to understand why. Okay, I love precious metals, but the financial advice here is not good and some outright false statements. People make more money as their careers go on, not less, unless they are completely incompetent. Saving a little silver is not the best thing for you can do for your retirement. And Social Security should not be relied on. You need to buy assets, not commodities like bullion. Plated jewelry will not sell for any melt value. The amount of melted plated is atomically thin, and it is. That's why instead of $65, $70 a gram, you only get 95 cents a gram. Interest rates in the United States are not going up and up. They have been paused for almost a year now. Canada almost cut rates. The U.S. may follow soon. Be careful who you listen to online. Financial advice is bad. Okay, so let's talk about this because this person, I don't know where he's grasping some of this information from. I think he watched probably one video on the channel, but we're going to break it down step by step. So, first of all, I'm not a licensed financial advisor. I'm not licensed to give financial advice. Therefore, this is not financial advice. This is solely my opinion. People can take it with a grain of salt, but I would think you would maybe just want to listen to the opposing side or any side, and then make your decisions before you get run over. Because most of these people are going to tell you, oh, invest in Bitcoin, something that is taking a huge hit right now. Although, I mean, you know, I'm not going to knock it just yet because the game on Bitcoin ain't over. We won't get into that. That's a whole psyop because think about when Bitcoin rolled out. It rolled out right after the financial meltdown. 2008, they had their big bailouts. You dump all that money into everything. What do? You need to somehow absorb that money up. So you roll out some completely fictitious investment that there's nothing tangible about it, and you get that people to believe in it. And how do you do that? You find silver stackers and gold stackers and convince them that this is limited. This is hard to get. This is totally anonymous. This is totally everything the government doesn't want you to have. Here's the thing. If they didn't want you to have it, they would at least try to outlaw it. But they don't care because it's theirs. They were the ones that invested it. If you don't know that that's a CIA invention, I guess you can say, you need to do a little reading up on that. But we're not going to get into slamming Bitcoin today because, you know, hey, the whole issue on Bitcoin ain't out yet. You know, if you want to buy something that's thin air, hey, that's great. I mean, I ain't going to lie. I've gambled on cryptos and I've won money and I've lost a little bit of money. But overall, I've won more money than I've lost. And if you time your purchases right, you can take the write-off on the bad years and then put your returns on a good year where you didn't make much money. So, but we're going to get into that for another video. So let's take this comment one step at a time. People make more money as their careers go on, not less, unless they're completely incompetent. Okay, that is true. You start off young, you're making probably minimum wage at McDonald's or as a waiter. You make more money as you move up through. However, with any kind of investing, they tell you you want to put in some kind of retirement. Why? Because the objective is down the road when you retire and you are in your later years in life and you're making essentially low income because all you're doing is collecting Social Security, that's the time for you to draw on your retirement or draw on your whatever your investment is, because then you can take out a certain amount, and even though you have to pay taxes on them gains, they're minimal. Why? Because you're in a lower financial tax bracket. So something to think about there. So this person disagrees with that, but he could have been a little offset on what he thinks I said or whatever, but I could go back and find the exact wording on this video that he might have got that from. But if you watch one video of mine, you probably ain't getting the true scope of what's going on. So investing in something like that, hey, that's up to you what you want to invest in. If you want to invest in crypto, if you want to invest in stocks. However, I can tell you, and I have showed you with numbers in the past, that precious metals has outperformed any other investment out there. And if you think that's wrong, I'm sure someone's going to say you cherry-pick them numbers. Let's just take a look here at the exact numbers. Gold in 2099 was $290. Fast forward into, we're going to say 2022, even though this is a joke because it's actually 33 roughly percent higher, where it's sitting at almost 2,400, 2,350. But that comes out to a 531% gain. If you had put in 100,000 into it, you'd be at $631,000. Jump over to, we'll say, the Dow Jones Index. Dow Jones Index was sitting at 11,400. Fast forward to 2022, and you're talking $33,147, which is only 188%. Jump over to the S&P, you're talking 1,469, all the way up to, in 22 years, you're talking $3,839, a gain of 161%. Will I say 161% is bad? No. If you put 100,000 into either one of these, that would put you at 288,000 or 261,000, which is pretty much right on track. So they can bleed a portion of your money out and take your money a little at a time, but they give you peanuts, just like the savings account where, they're giving you 5.5% when inflation is, inflation is only 3%, if you believe them numbers. But gold, however, 531%. Pretty big numbers. I can back any of the numbers that I state, or I have a reference to the numbers to kind of separate that. So with that being said, let's jump on to the next part, because I think kind of prove that, beat that up a little bit. Saving a little silver is not the best thing that you can do for your retirement, and Social Security should not be relied on. You need to buy assets, not commodities. So let's take this one. This is a three-part thing. Let's see here. Best place to start on this one is saving a little silver is not the best thing you can do. No, don't save a little. Financial advisors will tell you your portfolio should consist of 5%. My personal belief is I wouldn't put 5% in the stock market right now. I definitely wouldn't put I wouldn't actually. I haven't. I was about to say maybe I put 5% in cryptos to gamble it, but no, I haven't even done that. I wouldn't put 5% in precious metals. I would put a whole lot more, as you probably could make that assumption that I have. Social Security is not to be relied on. I don't think the dollar will exist in this form in 50 years, 20 years. I don't know. I'm pulling because technically the Venezuelan bolivar still exists, even though they have devalued it, 17 times now, to where if you had bought an ounce of silver the first time, that would be worth astronomical, millions of dollars in Venezuela. Now you could say this ain't Venezuela, this is the United States of America, the most powerful country in the world, and you would probably be right in terms of military. Being prior retired military, I would probably say we are still the most advanced and military capable in the world. However, financially, we're like a kid because we have no control over our spending, and anybody that has any thoughts that, oh, the U.S. is number one, only needs to look at Venezuela. Venezuela was number one in South America, and now they are at the very bottom because their money has been watered down so much. You need to buy assets, not commodities. Okay, so an asset technically is a commodity in my opinion. A lot of people like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Kiyosaki is going to tell you buy assets such as houses, property. The problem right now is with governments trying to make up for the losses of no one wanting to hold their dollars, they're upping their taxes. If anybody wants in the comments below, put a comment if your taxes went up or down in the last year. You're probably going to find out you're paying a lot more in taxes for the year. And that's happening to everybody. They're taking away tax cuts. They're increasing the value of homes. That way they could end up essentially raising the taxes on your home and then get more money out of you. They're looking for ways to take your money. When you're holding precious metals, you hold the wealth. It's hidden. Nobody knows you've got it. And it's going up in value. Why? Because every country in the world is now moving to buy it. There's a reason they're buying it. Let's see here. So that answers that one. Plated jewelry will not sell for any melt value. The amount of metal in plated is atomically thin. And that is correct. In fact, it is so thin, it is, what is the term they used? Electroplated is the proper term. Someone commented that. I had heard it when I took some in to sell, but I ended up forgetting the name when I had made the video, and then I ended up hearing it again in the comments. It's electroplated. Electroplated is gold-plated. It is super thin that it's only worth 95 cents a gram. But they will still buy it off you. Why? Because they will melt it down to nothing, and the only thing that won't burn off will be the gold. And therefore, they will have a tiny little bit. You could say the gold in a microchip is worthless. However, I've watched videos that with hydrochloric acid and hydrogen peroxide, you can melt those chips down and take the gold out of them. However, you need a lot of chips. How many chips? Guy had something like 10 pounds of conductor chips, melted it all down with the acid and the hydrogen peroxide. In the end, he only got 9 grams. He basically got 1 gram for every pound. I mean, he had a 5-gallon bucket essentially full of that stuff. And when it was all said and done, he got 9 grams of gold. However, 9 grams of gold for something you didn't pay for is pretty cool. It's a cool little project, especially if you're like me and you have access to tons and tons of broken down electronics. But I don't know if I want to deal with it for that little amount. So yes, electroplated gold will sell. It just sells for a very small amount. But if you take a look at gold here in the United States, we used to use, 18 karat? As time went on, we shifted to 14 karat. As time went on, we are now at 10 karat. And as time is going on, we are starting to shift to electroplated because people can't afford the real gold. Why? Because gold is getting too expensive. It continues to go up in price. And silver is being towed along, not as fast. We're not at an all-time high. But if you have enough silver, it can protect you. And someday you will see that if you take the mindset of gold and silver and your collection is going up on almost a daily basis. But we'll move on to the next one. Because, yes, I'll be honest, you can find a specific date. Someone left me a comment today saying, oh, 1980, it was $50. 2008, it was $35. And now it's $29. What does that say? It's going down. He took the 2 best days and then compared it to today. He didn't say, oh, gold's at almost an all-time high. He didn't say silver is at an 11-year high. He wants to cherry pick the numbers because there's I don't know how they can even come up with this, but I don't think they have any financial knowledge. But that's okay. Because this is going to make for a good video, I think. So please, if you haven't hit that thumbs up button yet, please hit it. It really does help me out. Interest rates in the U.S. are going, quote, quote, up and up, quote, quote. They have been paused for almost a year now. Canada already cut rates in the U.S. USA may follow soon. So let's talk about that. Why were they raising interest rates? They were raising interest rates to fight inflation. The only way you can fight inflation is by making it tougher for people to spend. If we had central bank digital currencies, they could just flick a switch and say you can no longer buy those products. However, we use cash today, and that's why they want to get rid of cash, because they want to be able to have the ultimate control. If they want to stop inflation, no one's allowed to spend money this month unless it's bare minimum. You can spend $500 for the month. Why would anybody want to go to work every day to make a couple $1,000s if they're going to limit how much you can spend? So let's be honest, they've got to slow your spending down somehow. The best way to slow your spending is to essentially raise interest rates like they did in the 70s with Paul Volcker. Why did Paul Volcker raise them? Because he recognized the only way to cut inflation is to raise the interest rates. So they raised them. And as soon as he backed off a little bit, inflation jumped again. And then he said, you know what? We're going all in on it. And they jacked the interest rates up to 20%. Everybody was losing their homes. Plus the oil industry tanked, and therefore a lot of people were out of work. And if you don't know anybody from the 70s and 80s, I highly recommend you go talk to someone that is older, and you can get the true understanding, because I've talked to people that are older, and I love hearing their stories about how every house on the street was for sale, and inflation was crazy, and it might even be worse today is what they will tell you. But some people believe the economy is great. So with that being said, you can make your own decision if the economy is great. I mean, the jobs numbers came up, and that was a total joke. I mean, they were there. I don't know if I believe the numbers that came out. In fact, I know I don't believe the numbers that came out. In fact, there's a reason why they have corrected 12 out of the last 13 sets of numbers. Why? Because they keep giving us BS numbers that come out right in mainstream media the day they come out. They're all over the news. Oh my word, the interest rate, the jobs are so good. And then all of a sudden, a couple weeks later, oh, we're going to revise them. We made a mistake. And where do they put that? Not in the mainstream news. They put it in the back of the newspaper. Why? Because no one's going to see it. They want you to believe that everything is great, kind of like this person. He thinks everything's great, I think. Continuing on, be careful who you listen to online. Definitely be careful the comments that you read online. With that being said, I think that kind of targeted that comment really well. Unfortunately, it wasn't a 10-minute video. I try to keep my afternoon videos short, but I also love a challenge, and anybody that wants to kind of challenge, I'm up for it, because I love watching debates. I watch all the debates on the Bitcoin. I watch all the debates on gold and silver, and I love watching and listening to a lot of the big names that are out there, kind of like Peter Schiff. Peter Schiff's awesome, in my opinion. I know some people don't like him. Some people say he's arrogant, but I enjoy him. I really do, and I think he's been right a lot of the time. However, some people are going to tell you, oh, he went bankrupt. So obviously not. Yeah, he went bankrupt like Trump went bankrupt. Because the truth of the matter is, if you owe a lot of money, you sell your assets over to your secondary company, and then you bankrupt your first company. Why? Because then you lose all your liabilities and you keep all your assets. And so what if your company went bankrupt? The system today is crooked. And anybody that comes up with the right strategy, they're going to end up giving you a hard time. Why? It just is the way it is. But this was not meant to get political, so I'm not going to go down that road. With that being said, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit that thumbs up button if you did. Leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. If I said something you disagree with, I'm not going to beat on you unless you outright are disrespectful in the comments, and then I might target your comment a little more harsh. But normally, I love comments, I love questions, and a lot of times I get serious questions that are sensible questions. They really are. They're meant to really learn. If I ask you, why do you like Bitcoin? It's not disrespectful. I'm curious to hear it. And respect is everything. But unfortunately, in today's society, no one has respect for other people's opinions. If it ain't their opinion, they want to shut you down and keep you quiet. So with that being said, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you hit the thumbs up. Hope you left me a comment. If you're not subscribed, do the ultimate thing and hit the subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. I will see you guys again tomorrow on T-Square Talk. And if you get bored, check out all my short videos. I do a lot of short 1-minute content that really is trying to help people educate and pick up some tips and tricks and some cool stuff. So take care, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.